selling to the customers to make them feel all right.
I'm buying all these products with oh so much delight.
I can help you find anything you could possibly want.
Such ostentatious goodies that I can flaunt.
Selling is service.
And service is selling.
Service is selling.
And selling is service.
Hello there, Nikki. How you doing today?
I'm in a good mood, and it's here to stay.
I've got a customer here that wants an Ulu to buy.
I'll send one right over. I've got plenty in supply.
Hello there, sir. I got some news for you. Your product is coming. It'll be here by 2.
Service is sell. Selling is service.
Selling is service.
Service is selling.
My name is Jill, and I don't like to sell. I'm an unhappy person. Everyone can go to heck. Complain, complain, that's all I like to do. My kids are ratty, the weather is cloudy, and I'm feeling sick too.
Hello there, Jill. They call me Happy Pete. I came to the store to buy myself a treat.
Do whatever you want, I don't really care. Just leave me here moping in the depths of despair.
You look so unhappy that you're making me sad. I won't buy as much, 'cause now I feel bad.
Selling is service.
Service is selling.
Service is selling.
Selling is service.
Okay, that's enough.
It's so great.
How about a scarf? You're
Ah.
dashing in jade.
Welcome, everybody who's jumping on, and for anybody who jumped on and watches the replay later. How great was that? That's the masterclass. Thanks for coming on. Welcome to Sales Psychology and how to get people to say yes, and it feels good for both of you, which we feels really important, to have that really nice connection with somebody and to get a yes on a sale. So then 2-3 months later, you can look back and think, wow, I was really in my integrity then, and the person got what they needed and it was delivered to them. Got a few questions, and just put a hands up or, I don't know, to a shake or make a movement. So is it okay that I swear sometimes? Because that's probably going to happen. Is everybody cool? And I'm probably going to get a little bit passionate. So is it okay if I yell a little bit or get a little bit into it? Is that all good? Do thumbs up. That's all sweet. And is it okay if we have a little bit of fun? Yeah? Sweet. Okay, so who do you need to be right now to get the most out of this session? I want you to ask yourself that question. Who do I need to be right now to get the most out of this session? So I want to see cameras on, which everybody is, which is awesome. I want to see the chat active and stay all the way to the end. And ensure that you watch the replay if you can't. So is everybody all in? It's all good? You're here. If you're watching the replay, take notes, wind it back. You can pause. You can do whatever you like. Feel good? Yes?
Awesome. Let's kick in. So this, oh fuck, Australian business statistics. They're kind of scary. 1.8% of businesses survive 10 years. In fact, these are statistics for a few countries around the world, and Australia falls as one of them. 95% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. That stat's been around for more than 20 years. It was around when I started my first business in my early 20s, and it's still around today, and there's a reason for it. 60% of businesses will fail in the first 3 years, and of those who fail, 50% are profitable. So it's not always that they didn't have the cash or the sales coming in, even though that is a big reason. So the two main reasons that these statistics, which is a hard word to say over and over, exist is because of cash flow issues, which are usually related to sales and sometimes the management of money from those sales. And the other reason is selling something that the business owner likes or the business owner is good at without market research to see if there's a market and if that market will be around for a while.
These,
Team.
thanks. It's a bit oh fuck when you think about it like that, especially because we are business coaches and consultants, and I've been working with people for a while, and it's a bit scary knowing out of the people that we talk to that some of this is going to become some of these statistics, and it's our role to make sure that never happens. So this tells me loud and clear, if you don't have a personal and professional development budget in your business, then you fucking well should right now put that in there. Make sure you're investing into yourself, and that doesn't necessarily always mean monetarily. It could be coming to these free masterclasses. It could be, you know, getting as much content as you can until you get to the point where you can hire a mentor, hire a coach, or pay for a program. It's going to help you get to the next level. Like, it's an actual must. My dad used to say, if you stop learning, you're dead. And that maps across the business. If your business stopped learning, it's all over, because it'll just fall away with the wind, and it shows through the statistics.
Yeah, so Tyler and I have been in and around business for most of our lives. So we were both born into families that were running small to medium-sized enterprise business. And Tyler's family had success with their small business. So what that success gave was Tyler the perfect childhood, where bills were paid, food was in the fridge, there were family holidays, there were nice things, needs were met, and everyone in that family of 5, felt secure. And even though my parents had a great passion and loved what they did, their business didn't survive. And in fact, they had a couple of different businesses that didn't survive. And there were 2 reasons for that. The main business that they had was that the requirements for learning to drive changed in New South Wales, and there was no longer a market for their driving school. And most importantly, they didn't have the support they needed to pivot quick enough to see it coming and make a change to allow them to survive. And they ended up in quite a lot of debt. And my childhood was very different to Tyler's for that reason. Tyler's family had longevity with the market that his dad was working in, and that market needed his dad's services. And his dad was savvy enough to get so incredible with knowledge that no one else in the country knew what he knew. And Tyler's dad went on to teach others and create another branch of his business. He became a consultant for chemical companies, for new chemicals being created. And people would ring him from around Australia for advice. He became famous in his field of work. And although he's no longer in that business still runs today, and that business still supports another family.
Pretty incredible. And he's an amazing man. And my brother actually runs that business now. It was passed down to the family line. And he didn't even want to do it. It was just so freaking profitable and set up that he was like, I have to just keep going with it. So he runs it at the same time as his other business. So he works about 100 hours a week, but he loves it. And I remember Dad talking about getting business coaching and advice and marketing advice when we were kids, and talking about if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong fucking room. You need to be hiring people around you that are smarter, who can figure stuff out for you, and then you can start to elevate past where you currently sitting. So those 2 reasons are the reasons why we're doing these masterclasses for free. And the reason why we're probably going to do more of these masterclasses. There'll be a load more this year. You know, probably one every 2 weeks, unless the time constraints don't let us get one across the board, but we're going to do our best to get them out there. We're doing them for free because we actually have a mission from those 2 stories. Now, I know they just sound like stories, but they sit close to our heart. This is our childhood, and this is potentially your children's lifestyle, and they're what they're going to grow up in, and their kids want to grow up, and the knock-on effect outside of that. So it's actually really important to us. We've got a mission to impact 100 businesses a year. We know some of that is going to be people working with us in a monetary exchange. And we also know that we're not going to be able to serve that many businesses every year. But that's why we've created this whole wing where we can get people started and get them moving and rolling. What we hope to achieve with this masterclass is for you to feel inspired. So is anybody already feeling a little bit inspired? That's not how I do inspiration, so maybe not yet. Maybe inspirational. Okay, so I want you to be able to ask questions, and I want you to realize that more is possible for you, because it just is. Coach thousands of people over 4,500 hours of and getting somebody inspired enough to ask the right question next, and then giving people simple actionable steps, which is what we're going to do on here. And then you're going to head in the right direction, whatever that is next for you. And everyone's going to be at all different levels. so you can make more impact, fucking make more money. Like, who's up for more money? Little bit. Who's up for more money? All right. That's my hand. I forgot I put that on. There's new
Candice's
If you just come in, just pop yourself on mute.
Susie wants to join in. I'll do it for you, Suze. It's all good.
Yes, it's like it's so important to, like, if you're not getting excited when Tyler pops the question out there, who's up for more money, you're actually saying to your unconscious mind that I don't give a shit.
So I know all this stuff. I learned sales. Candice reads marketing book every morning. I've been to heaps of sales training. I watch YouTube. Like everybody's watching Netflix. I'm watching YouTube videos on psychology of sales and why people buy and why people think of the evening. Like I actually love this stuff. And if I'm on a call with somebody and they say, hey, I've got some advice that may help me make some more money, then I'm all in. I'm like, fuck yes, I want to know about it. Because if it gives me that one little piece of information that I may have forgotten, or that one little piece of motivation that makes me go, fuck, I know what I'm going to do on my next call, or even just enough drive with that fire inside me that I can step up to the next sale call or message that next person and completely show up. I'm like 100%, yes, I am in. So can I get that same amount of energy from you guys? Because if you want to make it, and we're all trying to make it to that next level and enjoy the fucking journey with as much knowledge as possible, are you in?
Yes.
It's better. Susie, what's going on? Do you want more money? Sounds like your audio to work. All right, let's move on. I know Susie wants more money. All right, I'm just going to scroll down because we're using slides. It's gone. All right, so tonight we're going to cover sales psychology, and this is the core at everything we do. Sales can feel stressful. Who's felt stressful by sales before? Or jumped on a sales call? You haven't done one? Yes, definitely. Even I still get that sometimes. All right, so it can be stressful for you, but it also can be stressful for the purchaser or the person that you're selling something to, based on how you're showing up or how you're marketing. Salespeople are mostly considered dirty. Salespeople are something people avoid. Think for a minute, door knockers, people that stop you in the shopping center or the car yard, cold calls for Boys Town tickets or how to win your dream holiday house, all that kind of stuff. Like all those people make you feel like a little bit gross. And why is that? And did you also know that sales is the highest paid profession in the world? There's nothing that beats it. So why does it feel yuck? It feels yuck due to psychology, biology, and we're at a point in history right now where there is an abundance of knowledge and sharing, and we are switching from buying from corporations. I'm going to say that again. We're switching from buying from corporations, and we're starting to utilizing small to medium businesses more, and we're selling and buying to each other. So the processes are getting a little bit murky, and the processes are learning. A lot of people are learning sales, and we're starting to think differently. We don't want the Big Mac that is the same shape every time we buy it. We want to talk to somebody who's real. We're coming back to a more human approach. It's pretty cool. And if you guys are doing sales or running small businesses, you're at the forefront of something that's special, because it's how things used to be, and people talk about the good old days. So we're doing a full circle. It's pretty exciting, and we're going to get more uniqueness out there. We're not going to have cookie cutter programs. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. You can think what you want. All right. So interesting facts that I wanted to chuck in the masterclass, and I have to say them quickly so we have enough time to get through everything, but I think it's really important you know this. A dissatisfied customer will typically tell 9 to 15 people about their experience. 9 to 15 people. And that's from Amex. So it's top of the range study. They're figuring out what's going on. On the other hand, 1 in 10 happy customers leave a good review. Very skewed. Yeah. 1 bad review undoes the value of 40 good reviews. You make a mistake in your business once, 40 things that you do good, they reflect on you, because people, it's just how we think, right? So what we're doing tonight is removing the sales stigma, sales anxiety. Learning how you buy is how you sell is really important. So what's showing up for you and your clients or customers is how you're buying and doing. The 8 human motivations for buying that have been around for more than 100, well, probably thousands of years, even pre-money. These motivations are there and they're alive. They're never going to change. We're not evolving that quick, and they'll continue to be there forever. I'm going to talk about this authentic sales process that you keep hearing about. Who's heard about selling authentically, selling in alignment, selling with integrity, selling from a light being, or whatever you want to call it, like this process that everybody's talking about it? I've mapped it out into a little model that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to take us through a meditation so you can never have that give a refund feeling. You're never going to have people coming back to you 3 days later saying you trapped me or you tricked me, or you're never going to jump off the call saying, I wish I could have done better, because you're going to be around what it needs. Does that make sense? It's 5 steps to the perfect sale that feels good for you and the client. That's a simple way of saying it. And we'll be doing a live demonstration of how that works, mixed in with some of the other stuff we're going to be learning tonight.
Awesome. So who here is already a business owner? Like, can I just get a quick show of hands for who here owns a business? Yeah, sweet. And also, if you are watching the replay, because we are recording this, just let us know in the comments if you've got a business. And who here wants to learn how to produce more income in their business? Yeah, sweet. Cool. Who wishes their key card was like a packet of never-ending Tim Tams? Cash coming out. Sweet. So this is Doug. Doug is our 1-year-old bauble, and he is our 3rd born. And Doug still has heaps of firsts. Like last night, he saw his first cane toad, and he barked and bounced around like a lunatic for far too long, I reckon. So is it okay for just this masterclass that we all forget what you think sales are and consider that there'll be some firsts tonight? Is that okay? Nodding heads, cool. So we're going to be looking at sales in a way that sales aren't usually looked at. We're sharing information usually used for medical purposes so we can learn humans more. We're sharing a unique sales system that will flip how you felt about selling or being sold to in the past. So can we all agree to be more like Doug for the next 30 minutes and get inquisitive and excited about what might happen next? Hands up if you're in for this. Doug has a pretty sweet life.
He's got it pretty good.
He's very happy. So if you haven't been on our masterclasses before, we're a bit different. We love to have fun. We love your participation. And in fact, your participation brings out the best in us as facilitators, as trainers, as teachers. It encourages us to access more knowledge. So the more that you guys participate with us, the more that you're going to get from us, which is really exciting.
Super exciting. And I want you to think about this right now. All of you guys are business owners. You're showing up to a call to learn about sales. So show up completely like you were going to be on a sales call and you're selling your product. This could be just show up with this knowledge and think, if I learn something to here, this is going to make me nail more closes. This is going to make me be able to communicate better with my clients. I want to show up with that authenticity and that eagerness that you would show up if you were trying to sell someone your #1 top product, and it was going to help them so much that you know you're going to be giving value and you're going to be getting paid, and it means the future of your business. Can everybody show up like that?
Yeah, and when you access that energy, you're going to be able to carry it forward after this masterclass and use it in real time.
Yes?
Yay.
6 influences of saying yes. Okay, so this is psychology. This is from reviews and people actually going into different industries and figuring out what are the influences around people saying yes. These are 6 that made me, when I first learned this, go, wow, I'm doing everything wrong. And then I had to flip the script a little bit and change the way I was doing stuff. All right. So reciprocity. People want to say yes. They actually do. People want to spend their money. People work so they can have a nicer life and enjoy things and get things that benefit them. And those people are more likely to say yes when you give them something first. So find a way to give before they come to you. and keep giving. This is why businesses do samples. This is why corporations do samples. They're not silly. They're paid money for this stuff. So they give you a free sample, and then you automatically, unconsciously and psychologically think, wow, I owe them something. Yeah. And then you're more likely to go and buy from that person. So if you
sorry, Tyler, I can see a lot of people here that operate online tonight as well. So this also relates to any kind of online business, like a free download, sharing a free video, just some sort of free resources.
Yeah. Having something in the bank there, and it can be a spreadsheet, it can be a free course that's 5 minutes, it can be a hypnotherapy, meditation, it can be anything. It's just about letting somebody learn a little bit about you and you being in the field of giving. And the other thing is make it fucking valuable. Like,
yeah,
don't give
the
it
higher the value, the greater the result. And we've got a friend who's got a multi-million-dollar skincare business, and she just recently had an experience where she gave full-size samples to a bunch of media who came to do a story on the business, and the media was amazed that they walked away with full-size samples, because that doesn't happen anymore.
No, and now she's getting free write-ups where she's not paying to be in. Like, it's the shift it's had on her business is amazing. Number two, liking, or likability is like I like to call it. So like people, people want to say yes to who we know and like. So when you're talking to somebody and you're selling to them, find a commonality early. It's the easiest way to be liked. And if you think that you're so different from your client, and you're selling the wrong thing, if you think that you're that different. So jump straight in. There's always a memory from the past, or you can always look at their nice outfit or what they do or where they're from. And just actually, I got asked one time on stage, I was sitting in front of 300 people. I go, what's your number one tip for getting a sale across the line? I'm like, fucking talk to people. Like, actually enjoy the conversation. So that's what that likability factor is. Enjoy people, enjoy the conversation, and think about how you can help them. Number 3 is authority. So this is an interesting one, because those who give evidence, they are competent and have credentials and experience in a particular arena, are more likely for you to buy with without even questioning. So if you have credentials, get them out there. Like, how often have I talked about, I'm studying my MBA, I'm working hard for it. It's an extra 30 hours a week on top of running the business. And I'm proud of that. And I'll talk about it to the cows come home, because one, it's something that's accredited. It's information that's been studied and regurgitated and then restudied and checked. So when you have a conversation with me, I'm not talking to you about stuff that I've made up. We're talking about research. It gives confidence in the sale. For all of you guys, if you don't have those things, RTO or uni or in some kind of formal recognition or training, we have social media now and everybody's watching it. I think in one of our previous masterclasses, some of the statistics are in there. They're incredible. They're like 8.4 profiles per person in the world. So you can put your information out there and be clear and succinct and have really great branding that creates this authority for you. You don't have to be right at this point at the pinnacle of education. If you're on there and you're talking about stuff and you're making it clear and concise and you're really showing up and it's consistent, people are going to think that you're an authority in the space. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. And when I say that, that's about 3 weeks of posting every day. That's about the attention span of some people. So if you're showing up in a business, I normally say, if you're going to switch or pivot, take 3 weeks and just transition into it. And before people know, they'll just be looking back at your stuff. That's what they'll know you for. Does this make sense? Yeah. Social proof. If our peers are doing it, it's probably a good choice for us. So there's a restaurant in Beijing that put a little asterisk next to one of the menus on their item, and they had a 13 to 25% increase. This is over the course of the day, on each day, because all they said was, this is one of our most popular dishes. So up to 25%, so out of 100 people, 25 more bought it because other people liked it.
Over the chef's selection?
Yes.
And over the pictured, when you go into an Asian restaurant, and there's sometimes pictures of the food?
Yeah. It's because other people liked it. It's more important than other people. And this is where we get herd mentality. So, testimonials. Mentioning your most popular model and how people use your service and operations. Mentioning your most popular product, what you're selling. mentioning what your art is and how that is, this is the piece that people like the most. Yeah. And then more people will buy it and they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, if everybody else has that one, I want it. Every now and then you're going to go somebody who wants something different, but that their little tool nails both of it. Most people like this. I like something different. Cool. I have something different. It's actually quite simple when we get it down to the bare bones of what psychology is. Does that make sense? 42% of consumers, I love a good stat. So does Candice. 42% of consumers, this is our house talk. Did you know this? Consumers that recommended from a family or friend would influence their purchase more than a sale or a promotion. That's from Amex as well. So they're more likely to listen to their friend than do that 50% off. And that's always been that way. So you that word of mouth, and this is all going to tie in together, and you're probably seeing the patterns now. Number 5, scarcity. Rate dwindling in availability, not easy or accessible. Elaborate on why it's important that if people feel something is rare or valuable, they will value it more highly. So scarcity creates people to pay more. Does that make sense? And faster. So when you're talking to people, if you go to Coach, even at Harbour Town, but Coach store anywhere, they have one of everything on the shelf. And you walk in and you go, that's lovely. But you go to JJ's and I don't think they can fit any more stuff on the fucking racks. It's just jammed in. And how attached are you to them items compared to the Coach handbag or belt? You're like, I want that belt. Might not be able to afford it yet, but if you follow these processes, then maybe. Just depends on where you're at. 6, commitment and consistency. Be publicly consistent and committed. Show up completely. Choose a brand. Turn up in that brand. Okay. If you're flopping and changing all the time, that's why I said that 3 weeks piece earlier, transition out of it. And then people will start to see the consistency and then hold the frame. My father used to say, and my mother, every time you walk out of the house, you're representing the family name. That's what they used to say to me. So I'd walk out, always have nice clothes on, be dressed up, shoes tied, hair done, made sure we'd been to the barbers, had a shave, and that stuck with me and it showed up for me in business. So consistency is very important. And it helps people make a decision because a lot of the time they don't trust themselves and they're asking to borrow your belief because they don't know what the next step is. It's your responsibility. Doctors' offices who got clients to write down their own appointments, so writing down their own appointment on a card with their own date and time on the card, reduced no-shows by 18% over the receptionist or the doctor writing it out and handing it to them. Why? Because they put a public active commitment of writing it down in front of someone. That psychology alone has made that person 20% more likely to turn up because the psychology has made them go, shit, I've committed to this and somebody saw me do it, so I better do it. It's that keeping your word thing that we talk about. We do this, and you guys can do this as well, with meeting links. So if you're a service-based business, we send you a meeting link, you book in your own time, and then you both get an email, and then I confirm with you that I've got the email. That's how we create that in our sales process. There's a public commitment, and it's seen and it's written down. It changes the psychology and makes everything more formal, and then you're more likely to turn up to that call because you're actively engaged in the process of booking it. Rather than me going, I'll see you at 2 p.m. It's a very different experience. Cool.
Yeah, cool. So this is very psychological based work when it comes to sales. So now let's dive into a little bit more of motives and a little bit more of biology, which is the function of humans and some of our deepest desires and motivations. So people's primary interest is themselves. It's the quickest way to make friends. Just be interested in somebody else and ask them questions about themselves. It's their favorite topic. People love talking about themselves, even if they're quiet, even if they're introverted. You ask the right questions, you'll get somebody opening up and sharing quite a lot. And there's one thing that every human wants at their core. And that one thing is to feel important. And it's why social media is so successful. It's why there's been an enormous influx of podcasts the last 2 years. Psychologist Dr. Maslow constructed this chart from his research in 1954, And it depicts the personal basic needs, or that personal basic needs must be met before anyone will move towards self-actualization, higher levels of transcendence, knowledge, and also before they'll move into investing in aesthetic things. So the coach bag that Tyler was just talking about, it's not a likely desire for somebody who doesn't have their basic physiological safe needs or love needs being met. So this is the psychology and biology behind the motivation of needs. And it does start at that base physiological level. So having shelter, or actually food and water more so. Shelter is more of a safety thing, but food, water, and sex is a primal need for where animals sleep. Then it moves up into safety. So yeah, having employment is safety. Having safety in your family, property, having security in your health, being of solid health and mindset. Then love and belonging. People have needs for connection. They have needs for friendship, for family, and for sexual intimacy. So beyond actual physical acts of sex, they have sexual intimacy is different again, where there's more connection and more reciprocity in giving and receiving love. And then it moves into esteem. So people having confidence and achievement, feeling the respect of others, giving respect to others. And then once somebody has all of those needs met, they'll move into levels of self-actualization. They'll actually start moving into growth and expansion of themselves as a human. And they'll start looking at things like personal development, start looking at things like higher education, being creative, having really great problem-solving abilities, becoming more analytical in the way that they can see two sides of an argument, you know, that they can listen and receive information and have an opinion without getting too upset, as somebody would in a survival situation. So these are the base human motivators. And from this base, humanity's evolution and world timing also depicts people's motivations to buy. So this is what makes up humans. This is what a lot of companies take as their base information, like Coca-Cola, like Apple, all the big brands, everyone who's been successful. This is the knowledge that they have behind the scenes, and then it's broken down, okay? So some of these additional motivations that come from this are these. Fear is a big driver for people to spend. Impulse, so people are addicted to dopamine hits. It's worse than it's ever been. And that's because of social media. And that's because of quick buying. You can click on an Instagram photo, go straight to the store of a dress or a TV or whatever it is, and you can literally go through a quick 3-step sales process. Your information stored in the phone, it's easy payment. All of this gives a dopamine hit, okay? Instant gratification. It's a huge thing that needs to be discovered more about, and you know, we need to have ways of working with this in the future, because it's becoming like a really big problem, and it's causing people a lot of stress and anxiety, and it's a huge driver for why people buy at the moment. Possibly one of the greatest. Financial gain, people will buy for, that people will buy for importance as well. Everyone has this deep unconscious or conscious need to feel important. People will buy to fit in. They'll buy for hope. They'll buy for health. They'll buy for sadness and grief, trust and necessity. And they'll also buy for familiarity, which is another concept called the mere exposure effect. It's what made Facebook incredibly popular. It's social psychology, and that means that there needs to be 20 exposures of something for it to become familiar and for somebody to feel like they want to then integrate it into their life. So if you're appearing in somebody's newsfeed, for example, enough times talking about a particular thing, someone who may not have had any interest in that topic or that product or that service that you had will become more and more interested in it as they hit their 20 exposures. And then they'll start to feel like, actually, maybe that's something that I need. And this happened to us. This happened to Tyler and I. We've got an enormous water filter on the whole house. We had a company come in and filter the whole house water because it kept popping up in our newsfeed, asking different questions and showing pictures of disgusting water in our area. And it started to get into our head, well, we can smell the tap water. It smells a little bit like chlorine. And we just kept seeing it and seeing it. Both of us did. It turned us into a customer of something I thought that I would never buy and never invest in. So I want you to take this seriously. We're not messing around. People have an unconscious program to say no. It's a safety mechanism. It was installed in us when we were primates, you know, in our lineages that we've come from. It's a safety mechanism to automatically say no. Even people pleasers, they might say yes and then they don't turn up. Okay, it's an unconscious program. If you help people feel powerful by saying yes to something that they want, then both of you win. But only do this if the product or service is suitable for that person. Is this landing? Yeah, getting some nods? Cool. It's really important. Sales need to be ecological. There's no use selling somebody into something on a payment plan or anything if they can't afford it. If it's not really the right thing for them, it's pointless. You're going to have one of those people giving you bad feedback, discounting 40 good things that you've done for everybody else. Cool. All right.
Heavy.
That was heavy. Let's have a shake. Shake it up. We've got something big coming after this. So just reset yourself. Susie's up and at it.
Everybody up and down and wiggled and smiling. Ecology is a super important thing. And the second that you get your sales process, like we're giving you guys the keys to the never-ending Tim Tam key card. I want you to think about that when you're in sales process. I was like, my wallet is just printing cash. I go in there, I can put money on, draw it out. That's the goal, right? That's that form of abundance. That's buying back time. That's providing for your family what you want. That's that next step, being able to go and actually live in Bali and not have to worry about making sales while you're over there. It's all automated. That's the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we're sharing things like this, it's just to think about, okay, if these are the psychological motivations and drivers for people to buy, where does my product or service fit in? So what one do I, you know, for us, it became, for the water on the house, for example, it became a fear that we're having pretty disgusting things go in our body.
Mm.
It was a feeling of hope. It was about health. It became about necessity. So where does your product and service fit in, or where can you make it fit in? And it's so easy. You can make anyone feel important. It's easy to give hope.
The reason why that we say be careful with it, because we want you to make sure that you're delivering to the person and you're delivering a product that's going to serve them. It's not just for your own needs. There's plenty of people out there to sell to. Make sure it's the right people. And that's going to move into the next part of the slides. Does everybody feel shaken up enough?
Yeah.
All right. Do we know what this is called yet?
It's the double 3D tetrahedron. I think
this is a simple double 3D tetrahedron sales process. And that's what I'm going to call it from now on. I've heard everybody talking about authentic sales, and I've heard everybody trying to teach it, and not very well. I've watched a few sales trainings and talk about feeling the person and making sure you're in alignment, or pushing them past their boundaries, so that you're making sure that people are where they need to be. And that's all well and good. And a lot of people will teach you an authentic sales process for the purpose of selling you something in their form of authenticity. I'm going to say that again. A lot of people will teach you an authentic sales process for the purpose of manipulating you into thinking that their process is the most authentic. So what I've done, without a cognitive bias, I don't know if anyone that means, but you have an unconscious cognitive bias to make things work for you. I've done my very best to do a process that serves everybody involved, okay, based on psychology rather than our own wants and needs. So the 5 things that you need to consider in its entirety when you're selling someone are you as the business owner or the product or service. Yeah, what's good for you? A business sole purpose is to make money. Simple as that. Impact and everything comes later, the narrative, the story. If you're not making money, you're a charity or a non-for-profit organization, or you're not a business, you got a hobby, and that's cool. But the sole purpose of a business is to make money. So you have to consider that. Is the product can the product be reproduced? Can it be sold in mass? Can I deliver it in a way that people can afford it? All these questions. Is it something that is affordable to offer? The next step to consider is the customer. So when you're selling to somebody, think about this is a person. Like we often, and if you work with us long term, and I'm not even doing this call, we'll break people down into numbers. And one of the things that we teach is remembering that your client or your customer or your purchaser is a human being. So consider that when you're buying and selling things. It's really important. The third is the business. So consider the business. Sorry, consider the business owner. I've mixed them up. Switch them around. The business owner, you as the business owner, and what your role in this business is. What do you want? Do you want to make money? Do you want to save people's lives? Do you want to feel good about what you're doing? Do you just want to hustle and make quick cash? Actually think about what you want in this process. That way you're going to be able to communicate with that person exactly what you need, and the right people are going to be marketed to, and vice versa. Because the psychology of the things that we learned before, the really interesting thing is we didn't develop those psychological processes to buy things. The things that people developed for us to buy were developed around those psychological processes. Our whole culture is driven from our primal needs. But we believe we're buying things that we want, but we're buying things that were created to trigger those emotional points in us. It's really important to think about that. Number 4, think about is your product solves a problem. Even if it is making somebody feel more enlightened, or even if you're selling Mars bars, you're solving a problem. If you're selling relationship coaching, you're solving a problem. If you're selling art, you're solving a problem of a boring wall. If you're helping people go through a process that's quite unique and letting them have a voice, you're solving a problem. If you're helping people with water, you're solving a problem. If you're changing people's business mindsets, you're solving a problem, right? Think about that problem, and knowing that in a sales call, I want you to think about this. So we've got the business owner, we've got the customer, and we've got the business or the product standing in a triangle together. These 3 things are linked together and they're having a conversation, right? Nothing psychologically is happening yet. You throw a problem in the mix, and has anybody ever heard of the pit and the pedestal? Yeah. So, okay. So pit and the pedestal is you put someone up on a pedestal, you put a product up on a pedestal. This is going to solve my problems. It's going to be amazing. Everything's going to be fantastic. I have to do this. If I don't do this, that's incredible. But for that to happen, the pit has to exist. And the psychological problem is if I don't do this, then something bad's going to happen. I'm not going to have my human needs met. I'm not going to be able to do this. And that's the pit. So the second that you throw a problem in, that person will automatically put you on a pedestal. So 4 will create 5 if you have the right product, right? If you do those 2 points alone in a sales call, you're a jerk, right? You're just genuinely not a good person. If you haven't considered that customer and everything about them, including can they afford it? Is this the best thing for them? Do I care enough about them to see them through the process? Will this product be suitable for them for a long enough period of time for the value exchange to feel good? How long do you want them to feel good for? I want people to think about us in 10 years' time and go, fuck, I'm glad I worked with them. And I'll do everything I can to make sure that happens. Yeah. So I consider the customer above all else. And the process is around being the business owner. I consider myself. What do I want? I say this to people all the time. What do I want? I want our beautiful farm. but I don't need that person's money to make that happen because I'm willing to go through the no's to get the yeses that are right. Does that make sense? So when you're getting sold to, even if it's by me, look at this triangle and consider what's good for you first. When it's your business, consider what's good for your business, what's good for your customer, what's good for you as the business owner. What's the problem? What's the solution? When you're on a sales call, you want to have that conversation in its entirety with somebody. Yeah. If somebody gets too down low in that problem and that floor and they're feeling bad, bring them back out. Go, hey, listen, it's going to be fine. Take a breath. I know you might be feeling this or that right now. All I want you to do is just to slow down, come back up. It's not that bad. There's plenty of solutions. Let's talk about this in a neutral state. And it's what I call peak performance buying. And it's the psychology when somebody is in a position to make a decision which is informed consent rather than manipulation. And that's how you get a proper yes. Okay. Who's interested in a
I'm so proud of my artwork. Can I get some love? I'm getting some good laughs. That satisfies my dopamine. Thanks, everyone. I was so happy making this. So we're going to do a live demonstration, which is really exciting. Thanks, Steph, for the heart. Now, we would love someone to participate in this, and we're looking for someone who has been wanting to buy something for a while, but you haven't gone out and done it yet. Is there someone here who's been wanting to buy something? You can either just raise your hand as with the little tool, or
could be anything. Like anything you want.
It could be like, maybe you've been wanting to upgrade your car, technology, something's been on your mind. You're curious about something.
Dress, a laptop. Susie?
Susie's got a hand up. Yep.
I've been wanting to buy an iPad Pro for a long while.
Cool.
Cool. Great. You ready to go?
Yeah. You want me to come online or what?
You are.
I am. Oh, sorry. Yes, I am. Of course. Right.
So this is not going to be a real sales process. And what I mean by that is this is purely to demonstrate to you some of what we've learned tonight.
Ready to go?
Okay, so Tyler's not attempting to close. He obviously doesn't have an iPad to sell. He's not an Apple store. It's just to pull some of the tools together so you can see how they work in a live setting with a conversational tone to them, and how where you can kind of take things through the call. If you do want to experience a proper sales call from somebody who's generated more than $500,000 worth of sales in the last 12 months, I would recommend you book a sales call with Tyler so that you can experience the real thing, knowing that you have the full power and sovereignty to say no, and you don't have to be sold into something. But this is more for fun, and this is more for your demonstration tonight of what we've learned so far. Okay?
Hey,
cool.
How you going?
I'm great, thank you. Really well.
So what are you after?
I would love to have probably the latest version of the iPad Pro, and so I can extend my creativity and do a lot more stuff on the go. And I'd also be able to show my cards and everything else when I'm out and about.
Yeah, cool. So what's stopping you from having that already?
With spare cash.
Spare cash, cool.
Okay.
So when you get the iPad, tell me a little bit about what you think it's gonna what's the problems it's gonna solve for you? What are you gonna get out of it when you have it?
I'm going to be, instead of always I keep saying I don't have time to set up here, where I live, so I don't have an art studio or whatever else. But I know through programs that I've actually seen online and things, a lot of what I can do a lot of what I wanted to create, I could create on an iPad. And I suppose it's a bit of a dream that I've had. And it was only when Des said it, I'd actually put it away. I forgot about it. But now I'm talking about it, I think, oh, and also when I'm traveling, I wouldn't have to take this. I would just be able to take my iPad and it would be much easier.
Pretty cool. So do you think you'll make money off it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also because my cards are now on a something called Deckable, which is an app, which is really hard to show on my phone, but I'd be able to demonstrate it really well on the iPad.
Yeah, cool. So you can't do exactly everything you want to do right now.
That's true.
It's okay. What would happen if you just bought it and paid for it outright?
I'd have it.
What would happen at home? Would everything be satisfied? Would you be able to pay the bills and have a roof over your head and Des would be happy?
Des, would you be happy? Well, he keeps trying to encourage me to do it, and I just forgot about it because other things came along, and also because we have some money tied up that I can't get my hands on at the moment. So part of that, which made me realize I actually won an iPad but was never given it a couple of years ago. I took the money and I got a new phone. I didn't get an iPad at that point in time because the American, what they gave us didn't give us that. Yes, I could. And you've just given me, I could do it and I could probably buy it through Amazon in 4 payments. So I wouldn't feel stretched at the moment.
That'd probably be the best way to do it. I think Apple have a payment plan option as well. You'd have to check it out. It's pretty cool.
I haven't checked out the Apple. I know Amazon does.
Just want to touch on one more thing.
Yeah.
What's it going to feel like when you've got it and you're set up at the airport and you've got your cards on there and you start making money?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
I mean, imagine doing that, just showing them there and they click the button and they buy the cards.
Yeah.
And they can even buy an add-on and have a reading at the same time. It would be wonderful, Tyler.
So for everybody who's listening, I wouldn't normally do this on a sales call, but I'm going to dig in a little bit to show you exactly where I think she's at and where I'm selling from. Okay. Is that cool, Suze?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me when you've got it and you're all set up, who do you want to show? Are you going to want to show it off to people when they come around and show them through your cards and get people to jump online with you and check it out?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
And I'd like to use it. I think I could probably use it in all the lives I'm going to do as well.
Yeah.
Because I could be sitting here talking about it, but I can be showing the app while I'm talking. And I'm finding at the moment on the phone, it's quite hard to do.
Yeah, it would be. I've got, if I can't flip, actually, yeah, I can. I know the feeling's real. I've got 4 screens set up when I do this stuff and when I work because it's like super valuable to be able to have the iPad up there because I've got an iPad Pro. With the keyboard and the setup. So I set that up behind the screen. I've got my big monitor, I've got my laptop, and I've got my phone there filming in case I say something inspirational and we can use it as content. So it's all happening right here. I know what it feels like. And I like it when people come over and they look at my office, they go, wow, it's kind of like I'm sitting at the Candice and I laugh about the Starship Enterprise. Like it's all happening.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so I'm going to cut it off there.
Thank you.
Susie wants, if we look back to, what's the guy's name? The hierarchy. We've got his names.
Daslow.
Dr. Daslow.
Susie's in a, so her physical needs are already met. But sale had nothing to do with warmth, rest, food, or water. There was a touch of security and safety that I went into. And if you remember back to the double decahedron upside downy thing, sales process, I wanted to make sure that if she went out and bought this, it wasn't going to put her in a position where she's going to not be able to pay off bills or buy or anything. So we looked at other options. Did I have to talk her into that? No, she did it herself. So I didn't actually do much selling purely because I asked questions based around those 5 points and Oslo's needs. Yeah. At the end, belongingness, loves and needs, intimate relationships and friends. It's already met. Susie and Des are well and truly in love, and she's got enough great friends. She probably wouldn't buy anything to get friends anymore. She buys stuff for her own self-esteem. She buys stuff to feeling accomplished and to have prestige. That's why she wants the iPad. So at the end there, I dug further into that, and I just poked. I normally wouldn't do that because she's already sold. They're probably going to have a conversation after this and figure out how they're going to make it happen. Is that right, Suze?
Oh yeah, because we've just been looking at all our money just before on this call, and I know that I can do this.
Cool. I'm excited to see it. We're gonna.
And also, I've got your amazing spreadsheet that I downloaded yesterday, which we missed your last call, and I assume that's the one you were going to give me that I'm going to work through.
Yeah, definitely jump on there. Now, what's that spreadsheet? If we scroll back into reciprocity. So when we give out the spreadsheets and things like in sales, we're completely transparent with everything we do. We want to make sure you guys feel like we're giving stuff to you before we even fucking think about trying to take something. That's not fair. And if you do that with your clients and just give that spreadsheet, it's super valuable. Like I had to spend money to get that made. It's not something that we've just knocked up and copy pasted. It's super valuable and it's interactive. And I put hours and hours of thought into that process. It's some of my mechanisms. Plus there's more that's coming soon. Susie just goes, thank you so much. Right? If Susie never, ever buys anything from me, I'm happy. And that's what sales is going to be. Did I have to sell her the iPad? No. She sold herself because I did it on ecology based rather than me trying to force her to do something. So if you want it to feel good when someone says yes, follow these psychological systems.
I just want to provide a bit of subtext to what happened there too, because can everybody see how a couple of simple questions basically sold Susie into what she was already considering buying? So really early on, Tyler got her to vision her goal. So what that would actually look like if she had it. And then he tied her not having it to limitations in her business. And she started to see flaws of where it was holding her back. And then he started to get her curious and visualizing again, what would happen if? What would happen if you had it? What would be different? And then very quickly, Susie found her own solution. And all this was in under 5 minutes. Her solution came from empowerment. And then at the end, he got her feeling good again by, this is deeper sales training work that we offer, but he was getting her to visualize and he was getting her in a kinesthetic state of feeling. And having somebody in visual and kinesthetic, a VK strategy for sales is perfect. It was really, really quick. Did everyone see the power in simple questions and tying them together? Yeah, cool. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And speaking of that, we have free tools. Of course, we have free tools for you lovely souls. We have got tools that look like this. We've got the human motivation wheel. We've got the daily sales sheet tracker, because everybody should be tracking their numbers in business and tracking their leads and where they're coming from and what they're happening. It's got a formula in there to calculate your conversion rates. And we have also got the how to formulate great questions tool, which is coming up with your questions and how to have the formula to get the answer to those questions, which is really, really great. So if you would like those free tools, please type free tools in the chat box on this so that we can get our team to send them to you. And if you're watching the replay, type either free tools in the comments or DM us. A lot of people didn't get their free tools on the last masterclass because they weren't on the masterclass and they're wondering what they missed, and everybody's like, I didn't get that. And then some people genuinely didn't get them, which we're sorry for. So just, yeah, type it in if you want them and we'll get those out to you guys. And that's it, guys. Knowledge moves is in an ever expanding upward spiral. So what this is that with each higher turn of the spiral, with the more knowledge that you gain, you can see your previous knowledge with a broader perspective for the spiral loop that's under the bigger one that you've just transcended. And that knowledge that is yet to come, we call those the keys. So our hope for you and everyone who watches the replay is that with these masterclasses, you either gain a completely new perspective or piece of information, or we're just delivering something that's broader to the knowledge that you already have as you go forward in your learning journey.
All right, guys, you're awesome. Thanks very much for that last bit at the end, Candice. I hope that everything that you've learnt stores in your unconscious mind easily and effortlessly and can be used and utilized whenever you want. Just like always, everybody who knows me, if you have any questions about tonight or you're watching the replay, just reach out and ask. We're selling our Profits and Impact coaching container. Candice mentioned jumping on a sales call with me to go through that process. A few of you lovely guys are already in there, which is really exciting. If you're interested, we'll probably send you a DM if we think you're a perfect fit. If we don't reach out to you and you really want to jump on, let's have a conversation. And we're going to go through that exact same sales process. That's the way we sell. All right. So have an amazing.
And just before you go, I would encourage you guys to practice these tools as soon as possible. Just practice what you've learned so that it starts cementing into the unconscious mind, and get familiar with them so that they can simmer down into your own authentic style and flavor and suit your business. Michael and Amy said thank you to us both. Thanks from Zilla. Thanks from Steph. Great session. Thanks, Des. Thanks, Bianca. Amazing tools. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening.
See you guys.
Bye. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Thanks, Susie. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Rosie. Thanks. Bye.